Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, today I would like to talk about my newest acquisition to the percussion revolver remuda, and that is a pocket navy. Now, for those of you that don't know what it is Colt took a 49 pocket model, which was in 31 caliber, and made the cylinder bigger, cut the frame, and chambered it in 36 caliber. So it used the same ball as a 51 Navy or a 61 Navy. And they called it the pocket model of Navy caliber. Okay, but we designated the 62 pocket model. Okay, pocket Navy. Now, I've wanted one of these since the 70s. But man, these things were always more expensive than the full size gun. For the price of one, I could get an 1860 Army, a 58 Remington, or a 51 Navy. They were always like $75 to $100 more expensive than the full size belt gun. And that just, I never could come off the money, because every time I had the money, why not go ahead and get a full size? But finally, I'm at a point I could get the smaller one. And I had a 62 pocket, 62 police years ago, and I really enjoyed it. And it has the fluted flowing barrel like the 1860 Army and the 61, but it has the flutes on the cylinder. I've often wondered, I know these would be the same cylinders, but I'd like to get one of the pocket Navy cylinders and put it on the 62 pocket police, so it then would look like a small miniature 1860 Army. So this would be the small Navy, and that would be the small Army. But of course they would never call it Army because it wasn't 44 caliber. Okay, but I've often wanted to do that because that fluted cylinder always, although I have an 1860 Army with a fluted cylinder, it would be a good companion to that too, wouldn't it? So we'll get around to that. But back to this. I picked this up and I wanted to try it out, and this one has a problem that I'd like to demonstrate to you today. And then we're going to go through a process, not today, but I'm going to see if I can figure out how to fix this problem. Maybe you've had this problem too. Now, the action does well. It's all timed nice. And it's on a scale of 1 to 10, fairly stiff hammer pull. Good. I want a strong hammer to hold it down against the nipple on fire and to keep back pressure from coming back. But when I fired this, so let me load this up right quick. Now my load is going to be 15 grains of Powered XP and a 380 round ball. I'm just going to load one right quick and I'll show you what it does. Woo, you can hear that wind just getting up. Got a major storm front rolling in. I'm not going to worry about putting a wad in this, because I'm only going to fire one round, so there's no chance for chain fire if there ain't nothing else to shoot. So, load it right there. Give it a couple of knocks with my knuckle to settle it. Take the round ball, put in the sprue where I can see it, put it underneath, and ram it. Just like that. And it did got a small ring of lead. Alright, now let me cap it up and we'll shoot it and I'll show you what it's doing. Okay, now hammer down, there's the cap, 5-shot of course. Now, have not touched the hammer. Hammer is all the way down. Turning it like this. No cap on the nipple. The cap was down there already. The openings in these nipples are so large that the back pressure, you can see how much is just caked already in one shot. And you can look at the frame on either side. Look at that soot blow right there on both sides. All that back pressure is hitting the hammer, lifting the hammer up, going underneath the hammer, blowing out down here on the sides where the cap's finally jamming up, and going straight down through that hole into the action. This won't shoot 15 rounds before the action jams up. It's the nipple holes are way too big. Now let's talk about that for a second. Okay. Since the opening is inside the nipple, and this isn't just on one, it's on all of them, I done checked. When it fires, the back pressure is lifting that hammer up about that much. The cap is being blown all the way down to about here, underneath that hammer. There is no cap sucking where it's grabbing. The cap ain't even there. The cap is all the way down here and bottomed out. And then when you go to cock, if it falls out from here, or it falls straight down into the lower action and jams it up. So, what are we going to do with that? We have to address the nipple openings. Because it's not a cap sucking thing. It's not those horns on the hammer I've talked about so much, those fangs pulling it. They're being run over as it goes by. I thought about, is the face of the hammer squares or beveled down where it's lifting? No. But the mainspring is using momentum so that whenever I pull it and it comes down, when it gets that last little bit there, there's very little tension left on that mainspring, because it's at the end of its travel, the spring's going to stop in just a split second. And so the pressure coming back from the fire chamber is so great, it'll just rock it back like that with little effort. And that's what's picking the hammer up and blowing the cap down into the thing. It's a guaranteed cap jam every shot. So, my usual tricks of doing the hammer won't work. Can I reinforce the mainspring and maybe get a little bit better? Well, yeah, I probably could. I could put 2 mainsprings on it. But that doesn't address the real problem. Because that pressure blowing straight back, that soot's got to go somewhere. If that hammer lifts at all, it's going straight down that curve of that hammer into the action. It's going to gum up the action very quickly. Now, it's the same basic design as any Colt, but it's smaller. And I'll tell you, trying to put the hand and the handspring into this is a fiddly bit, because that thing sprung out like that. It's not like that, it's like that. And so I have to get it up there, line it up, and take a punch and run in there and get everything to go up when I took it apart to do a quick cleaning on it the first time. So this isn't something I'm going to take apart in the field without extra tools. So I've got to change those nipples out and get a smaller venturi. So is Slick Shot a smaller venturi? I don't know. But I know that there's no way this gun's going to be functional in the field if every shot's a cap jam. Even if I can, get by that, and just ignore it and always point it straight down and jiggle, 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 jiggle every time I go to shoot, the action's going to get gunked up. And then I got to take the gun completely apart to clean out the action. So we have to address the root cause problem, and that is too big a holes. Now I'm going to look at online sources and see if I can find a smaller Orvis nipple, possibly the Slick Shots or the Ampco nipples. I've had really good success with the Tresco nipples in the past, and several of my guns have those. So I will look at it and see what the venturi hole is on it, but there's no sense, and if they have the same hole and putting it in here, we're going to be losing ground. It has to be a smaller venturi. If that doesn't work, well, what could I do? And I've thought of several things. Could I simply have the opening welded shut and re-drilled? Yeah, I could do that. A lot of work, a lot of precision effort. How about if I simply plug it up somehow in there to reduce it? That's a hit and miss. So you see, it's one of those things. First attempt. Let's simply see if I can get a better nipple to go onto it and fix the problem. second attempt. Can't do that. If there are none available, then we'll start looking at more and more extremes. In a worst case scenario, what would I do? In a worst case scenario, I would go get a hypodermic needle like used in inoculations, which is a smaller, like hog and veterinarian, not talking about human. JB weld inside of the nipple and insert it so the tip came out through the orifice down there and cut it off flush at the top. I could do that. I ain't gonna do that if I don't have to. So, do I like the gun? I really do. It is accurate, guys. My very first group at 10 yards was the size of a playing card. I am very happy with that. What I'm not happy with is the every shot blowing back cap jam. So if Mr. Uberti or Mr. Pietas are listening, look at that Venturi. I think it has gotten a little too big over the years. I understand you want reliable ignition, but I think you've gone a little too far that way. It needs to be shrunk down to lower that back pressure. Just my 2 cents worth. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you have, please hit that like button before you go. And until next time, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.